Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformer Studio Series 86 Sludge. Yes, you can see him there in front of his box, which we'll put him off to the side real quick. And yes, the box here. You can see the box is, well, just all artwork because, yeah, again, Leader stuff no longer has windows. So you got a nice bit of him, you know, well, blowing away a bunch of Sharkticons. You got the 8615 and Transformers and Generations and Takara Tomy way up here and all that stuff, and this, yeah, all that. You know, on top here, you got the Transformers, the movie logo, and the side you got close up in there, and the Leader class and Studio Series, and over here you got another picture, and then Authentic, and on the bottom you have copyrights and what includes, and in the back you have, of course, product shots and warnings and all that stuff. And yes, Dinobot Sludge breaks down the courtroom door and crashes the Quintus on trial. It also includes instructions, which are, I would say, mostly good, but there's a couple, I think, spots which aren't exactly clearest. And of course he comes with the backdrop, which is pretty much the pit for, well, yeah, the Quintesson Judgment Pit, or whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what it's called now. Of course you can take Sludge here and make the box almost fall over, and yep, there you go, if you want. Barely fits on there. So, Sludge. Yes, he is once again another Leader class Dinobot, the third of 5. We already have, my list leaks have confirmed Snarl and, well, Swoop as well. So there we go, yeah. Sludge here, you can see he's red, black, and silver with some bits of gold, mostly on the feet. Yeah, looking up here, of course, he's, you know, face, nice bit of silver, the silver crest, blue eyes. Got the Autobot symbols in black here with some little bit of detailing, almost look like a targeting reticle, which may not be the best thing to put on your chest. That's the thing we'll get into. You got black and silver and gold, and yeah, of course he has his dino wings, which are very nice shade of silver. Actually, more of a gray, if anything, right, for the rest of this. And of course the dinosaur head, which, yeah. So yep, pretty good looking. Just a bit. There we go. Yeah, pretty good looking. Yeah, he's got a fairly major flaw in this mode, which I'll get into in a little bit. Also, the other thing is, yeah, this right here, you have to clip it on in the box. It's not attached. You have to clip the dinosaur head. But it's pretty simple. It's just a simple thing. Just pop it in. Good to go. He also comes with a gun. No partner this time, thank goodness, because, yeah, that would have been just, you know, another thing just being annoying. But yeah, he comes with a gun, which it comes with a really shallow peg, but it does, you know, go into his hand pretty fine. Holds it pretty securely, all things considered, if I could get in there. But he holds it pretty well. Nice bit of, it's black with some gold. Looks pretty good overall. There you go. Fortunately, as far as I can tell, there's no real storage for the gun. Maybe you can get into one of these screw holes. Yeah, kind of, but it's not exactly the tightest fit. But you can guess store it there. Not exactly tight fit, but it does kind of work. You can also, I guess, plug into the shoulder, because those are 5mm. That's a nice tight fit and all that stuff. Yep. So yeah, I think he looks really good. Posability, his head is well, actually the ball joint, so you got left and right. You got a little bit of, well, actually that's a platform that's mostly coming up, but it does move up without the platform a little bit. And left and right, it's kind of, I believe is a ball joint, but unfortunately it's kind of weirdly one of those you can't use too much because of the way the head's shaped or something. But yeah, you got the platform. They can kind of make it look up and down a little bit, but I wish that was a little tighter, that platform. The wings here, the dinosaur wings, I guess can move forward and back. That's one thing people don't like, is this is rubbery plastic. So a lot of people aren't really happy with this. It's a bit of a softer plastic. I don't think it's rubbery. I said rubbery, but I don't think it's really rubbery, but it's definitely a bit of a softer plastic. And it's supposed to tab in right here, and kind of does. But yeah, a lot of people don't like that. I have not any issues with that personally, so I don't know. Apparently some people have a problem with it just kind of popping off really easy, but I've never really had a problem with it, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But the shoulders, ratchet there. You technically would be able to go all the way around, except for, well, that. You got outward, which is just friction, but you got full outward. You got a fairly tight bicep swivel. You got a double jointed elbow, which can kind of get a little in the way of itself if you don't bend it right. But yeah, got that much curl. Wrists can swivel, which is nice. The waist can swivel. Almost unhindered. It starts bumping into stuff when you start getting back here, but honestly, beyond that, I don't think you really need a whole lot. Hips, ratcheted forward that far. Back, about that far before the backpack starts getting in the way, and you have to start moving it out, and even then you only get so much more further. Outward, just friction, but all the way out. Got a thigh swivel, and then you got the knees, which is the other big problem with this, what people are having with this, which is simply, as you might have noticed, they're not very good knees. They're very loose. Unfortunately, they are ratchet. You can hear, might be able to hear that. It's very soft, but there's a ratchet there. Unfortunately, it's just, it barely works. And as far as I can tell, the problem is just simply that the little thing in there for the ratcheting, which goes against these little notches, barely touches it. So what happens is you kind of get this thing where it's like it does ratchet, just doesn't do very well. And one of the first fixes people put out was put a Q-tip in there to stiffen things. And unfortunately, that just grinds the plastic down eventually. So eventually you just got a friction joint. You really don't want that. So I don't know what the exact solution is other than possibly having to replace the whole mechanism in there. But at least it would be the best solution. But as it is, just kind of, if you don't want to try to fix that yourself, you kind of have to just be careful about it, because he does stand. I mean, you see that. The problem is it's also really easy to, well, make them give out. It's not like he is incapable of standing. So that's just an unfortunate thing, which really kind of brings down the figure as a whole. You also down here, you have some ankle tilts, which, you know, pretty darn good ankle tilt there. And I guess you got a downward toe, although it's mostly untransforming when you do that. And you can kind of simulate toe movement a bit if you fiddle. So there you go. Yeah, that's the articulation. Just pay that back in because I want to. Yeah. Real quick comparisons though. Get him to stay standing, which here he is with his power of the prime self, which yeah. bit of a difference there. Here he is with the Studio Series Grimlock and Slug. Yeah. Him. The 3 so far. Yep, there's the Dinobot so far. And because it's the standard, I guess, Earthrise Optimus. Yep, you can see bit of a height difference there, despite both being leaders. There's that. So, transformation. It's actually pretty clever. A lot more involved than I thought it would be. Yeah, first, of course, take the gun and put it off the side if you haven't already. And take the fists here. You want to rotate them 180 and then push them into the arm like that. Same on this side. Rotate 180 and push in the arm. You go ahead and just want to move these forward and then rotate here at the bicep 180 and then take that top elbow joint. It'll kind of click into place. Be stubborn, but kind of click into place and then move that up like that. And then same thing on this side. Rotate that around 180. Bring this back and click it up into place and more or less like that. Back here, you want to go ahead and take this and move this up so you can then go ahead and move these up out of the way. So then rotate the waist 180 like that. And then down here at the feet, what you want to do here down here is take these feet and just fold them in half like that. Fold them in half like that. Take the tail pieces right here and untab them or unpeg them. This one also on mine just doesn't want to stay tabbed in very well, but it doesn't really. It's not like it flops around, but it doesn't really tab in either. Go ahead and move those out, and then take this piece right here and unpeg it from the side and move it up like that. Move this up like that. And then go ahead and take this whole piece and move that out like so, like that. Right? What you want to do here is you want to move this part like this, and then this little slider piece, you want to slide it inward And this part, it's not exactly clear in the instructions. It took me a bit to figure it out, but there's this little divot right here, right? In the back of the leg, and there's this tab right here. This tab needs to go in that divot, which that sounds simple enough, but it's also that will put someone an angle. So what you got to do there is also bend the leg at the hip like that. And if that tab, you know, when you get it into the divot correctly, everything will line up like this. So you got to have the leg at that angle and everything looks like that. Right? Repeat the process on this side too. Go ahead and move the leg up. You know, undo this, slide it inward, and then bring this up and bring that tab into that divot like so, and like that. And then you can go ahead and start tabbing this stuff together. Not going to hold super solid at this point. It will, and once the dinosaur is all assembled, but yeah, or transformed or whatever. And then right here, you bring these back like this. Both the tail piece, you bring them back and peg those together like that. You can go ahead and bring this up as well. And those can go together. Come back to that stuff later. Now up here, what you want to do is you want to bring the chest forward like this. And the head, you want to go ahead and collapse into this little crevice right there. Rotate the chest 180. And then go ahead and bring it up like this. And this will also tab in. These tabs right here on the feet will go into little slots on the back of the chest like that, locking that into place. Right? Then go ahead and rotate these around like that, because that will be the bottom of the dinosaur. Then right here, what you want to do is go ahead and get these wing pieces out of the way. You want to go ahead and this right here, these big old long tabs, they clip into these tabs, these slots right here. Doesn't always cooperate, weirdly enough. But yeah, get that all squared away and bring the neck up like that. You take these legs and bring them in. These tabs will go in these slots. Like so. Like so. You go ahead and bring these in like that. Just the accordion in like this. And go ahead and bring them together. Pretty much tab together like that. You're almost done. At this point, what you do is you take these gold pieces and you move those up. And this part is really weird because what you have to do is you bring them in, and you also have to take these pegs and clear the plastic. So you might have to do them one at a time and do some finagling. Yeah, bring that in, clear, you know, then probably re-tab all this together. And this will tab down over top like that. Make sure to give it all a good squeeze at the end. And there you go. There's Sludge in his dinosaur mode. Yeah, it's a pretty darn good looking dinosaur, honestly. I really like this for the most part. Again, you got the nice bit of gold here on the head. You got the Autobot symbol and the blue eyes. You got the silver here. You got the gold here. You got a bit of red peeking out. You got silver tail. It's a bit stumpy, but hey. Also, the transformation is really clever because you know, because the old toy was like, you know, you flip the legs over and all that stuff. And now they actually did some pretty clever engineering here to get the legs to transform a lot more smartly and I guess creatively, I guess. And it looks really nice overall. The only thing, of course, is there's a big old gaping hole here. And the going theory is that at one point there's going to be a hinge here so these feet could fold up and cover up the hole a bit. But I guess, well, something happened budget-wise and caused that to not be a thing anymore, unfortunately. So there's a hole, but at least it's down here at the bottom. So, you know, you can at least, you know, pretend that there's nothing there, although you kind of have this stuff sticking down. But yeah, it also would clean up this silhouette a bit on the side. Unfortunately, just that's not what happened. Instead, we just got that. Well, the good news is, though, you got this gun, which the tabs right here on the gun can go in these slots here, and thus, unfortunately, you have to do it like this with the pegs and stuff sticking down, but you can then line that up and somewhat fill in that some more, I guess. you can somewhat fill it in a little now. It's just like you see that there. But it does have at least have nice storage. There is that. So yeah, it's a pretty good looking dinosaur overall. It's nice and nice big. It's one of those things, I was thinking about this, where it's this weirdly nice feeling and possibly nostalgia or something, but like it just feels good to hold a big old chunky dinosaur in your toy dinosaur in your hands, you know? There's something about it, just it gets you in a spot. I think this is a nostalgia thing. It just makes me think of when I was little and having, you know, big old dinosaur toys, and like something about this, just holding it like this feels good. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But yeah, articulation in this mode is actually a pretty decent amount. You know, you got that, unfortunately, yeah, that does come off somewhat easily. But articulation in this mode, you got this up and down, which ratchets up but not down. You can see it's kind of this weird one-way ratchet. So it's smooth down this way and then up that way. There's a swivel here at the top of the head. The head can also look way up and way down. The jaw can open. There's a little gun in there. I believe it's actually BlastFX compatible. Right here, you got this can swivel forward and back. There's no outward. You do have a hinge here for the feet. So you have that. That's about it there. This is pretty much the same as the arms. So you got full rotation there. You got outward. You got this swivel. You got that and whatnot. Nothing at the toes. This doesn't move at all. It's just a solid block. And there you go. There's Sludge's articulation. So pretty good, all things considered. Comparison real quick. Here's Power of the Prime Sludge, which yeah, no contest. This is the better figure, period. In both modes. You can see right there, yeah, it's just it's Sludge and his son, I guess. Although this one does have the more G1-esque, toy-esque, I should say, clear bits and whatnot. Still has the opening jaw. But it has the clear bits of G1-esque clear bits. That's a thing. And of course, here he is with Slag and Grimlock. Okay, Grimlock's the tallest one, but he's a T-Rex. Of course, he's supposed to be the tall one. So, yep. Got that whole thing going on. Going to be very hard to get all 5 of them in shot when they're all out. And just for the sake of it, here is Optimus in robot mode, just to kind of give you an idea. Nah, it doesn't work over well. There's one thing I wish they did also was possibly an attachment, put those little bug out eyes from the movie, but because it was this big thing in the movie, so you think maybe they do that instead of the rider, but I guess budget probably around. I wouldn't surprise me if they wanted it, but yeah, whatever. The other thing, I guess refilling, because those are the same as the robot mode. You can also peg the gun in here on the side and have a dinosaur with a gun. But yeah. So overall, it looks good in both modes for sure. It looks good overall. It's very accurate to the old cartoon without being, it still has all the tech greebly stuff though. Inspired from the toy, but it still looks a lot like the cartoon. In both modes, it looks great in both of them. Wonderful looking paint and all that. But unfortunately, they all have pretty much seems to be universal to varying degrees. I've heard some people's aren't as loose. I think mine are somewhat on the nicer end when it comes to it, but the knee ratchets are really loose all across the board on this guy, unfortunately, and that's going to be a bit of a bother for a lot of people. It does make it more difficult to pose and stand because, there he falls over again. The rubbery bits on the dinosaur wing pack thing, on the rubber pieces, again, some people had some trouble with those. I personally haven't, so I don't know. Maybe your mileage may vary, but I have had zero issue with those popping off or anything. So I don't know what the problem there is, but I have not ever had it just pop off on me. The transformation is also really, honestly, pretty clever and works really well, and it's a lot more involved than you might think for a Sludge. You think, it's just fold this in, done. You're pretty much done. But no, they went the extra mile and did some pretty clever engineering. So should you get them? At this point, if you're already this far in the Dinobots, you might as well. But just know that again that the the knees are a problem. If you just really like Sludges, he still looks really good. That's the thing. The big thing, he looks really good. Just those knees can be a bit of a problem, and that might put a damper on things. I personally don't regret getting him. I'm definitely looking forward to Snarl and Swoop, but that's the big thing. Just those knees. Everything else is like really good, and maybe also the hole in the bottom of the dinosaur mode, that cavity might upset people, but personally it doesn't bother me. And there's already an upgrade kit for the feet that basically makes it so they can fold up and cover that cavity up. So there's a thing there. Probably wouldn't surprise me if someone eventually comes up with something to cover it up, some other method, but whatever way. If that bothers you, that might give you pause. But yeah, I personally think it's great. It just has that one big flaw, which is fixable. I just gotta figure out the best way to fix it. And possibly it might be just a case of, just wait for someone to come out with a whole new Ratchet set or something that'll work better. I don't know. But I like him a lot, even with his flaws. So that's it for this one. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitter, my Nemesis Prime 1, and check out my Coffee and my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.